They've got good size. They've got decent speed. They've got a good guard. And we really wanted to use this as a barometer of where we stood with the rest of with teams like this. So it was a really good test for us at this time, and I thought the guys did a great job. It was surprising that we won going away, and this might be the first game where we shot under 50%. I'm not sure, but it was a good win. I love the guys' execution. I love their defense. So with that, I'll open it up for questions.
Obviously, one of the reasons you're able to win, while shooting, 50% or whatever it was or under, was the fact that you held down to 33.5 or whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, our defense is a function of hard work and the way these guys approach it. I mean, I think our guys really enjoy playing defense, and that is a huge piece of trying to get guys to play quality man-to-man defense, is having guys who want to be defenders. And we have good offensive players who like defending, and that's a real treat. Yeah, I thought that even though we didn't shoot the ball well, I love the fact that we had 16 assists on our 20 shots. I mean, we're still sharing the ball really well. Nobody is sort of holding the ball too long. And it was good seeing Ahmad and Jared get off a couple of threes. They hadn't been shooting their threes well up till now, so that was a good sign.
Ahmad mentioned not shooting very well lately, but having a good shoot around. Did you have a feeling maybe something like this was coming?
You know what? I have never lost confidence in those guys shooting, because I get to see them putting the work in every day. And I did see in the shoot around today that he and Roberto and Jared were all really seriously trying to. They had a hard pregame workout. Most of the time you're taking it easy and you're really mentally preparing for the game and getting loose on a shoot around. At least that's how we like to do it. All the preparation's done earlier in the week. But today they were really, they came off the shoot around with, heavily sweating shirts. And when we as a staff talk about that, when we're standing there watching them and you can see how much work they're putting in, it's like, well, so we might see something good tonight. And certainly, it certainly paid off.
You said earlier in the week that you thought that this Montana team could even be better than the Hofstra team you guys beat a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So what does it say about your group and where it's at right now?
Well, I'm trying to be as sort of non-cliche and honest with you as I can. Each game we win, we're still in a learning process. We're in uncharted territory. We're 6-1. We haven't been 6-1 since I've been here. So the guys are learning how to win by winning. And I thought, when I compare this team was as physical as Hofstra. They were bigger than Hofstra, though. So it was a little bit of a test for our front court guys. I just think that our guys approach each game independently of the other, and they know how hard it is. What we've tried to get across to them is that as you go from, 4-1 to 5-1 to 6-1, it gets harder. It doesn't get easier. Every game you win, the next game becomes harder because the team that's coming in views you as a big game, and they play hard against you. And this team did. They tried to get it, more physical when they were having trouble with our defense. They wanted to get the game more physical, and we just answered it.
Talk some 11-1, looking at the remaining.
Oh, jeez, Brandon.
How hard is it for you to kind of tune us out and just keep your players focused in one game at a time?
Well, I like that. See, you admit it, tune us out, because you'll be the one talking about 11-1 from now on until we lose, and I'll be saying one day at a time. So it won't be hard for me to tune you out. I'll hear you, and I'll be trying to focus our guys on one day at a time. And we can laugh now because we're 6-1, but that's when you get tripped up, when you start thinking, 7-1, 8-1, 9-1, 11-1. Now, as a staff, You guys know. I mean, the real thing is that each of my assistants who's doing the future scouts, they're already taking a look at those teams. I can't go past the next game because I'm always working on the game that's coming up. So it'll be easy for me to go one day at a time. It'll be hard for my staff. It'll be hard for the fans. It'll be hard for about everybody except the guys in that locker room. So, I will continue to have fun with it as long as you do, as long as we're winning, But I'm completely sympathetic to you guys. Have to say that, and it'll be our job to tune it out. And I'll be honest with you. I'll probably use that as motivation to help them tune it out. Everybody's talking about you being 10-1 or 11, whatever and one you could possibly be. That's when you start to play differently and lose games. So now you know what I'll be talking about in the film session this week.
Coach, I asked you on Tuesday if you'd ever kind of tell Ahmad to slow down when he's struggling. I guess tonight showed why you said no to that question.
Yeah, well, and not only tonight, and as I told you when we talked about this early in the week, when you see kids putting in the work, you can't take like a section of it and say, oh no. If he's putting in the work the whole time, I feel confident. And my confidence doesn't come from me just being confident because I'm looking at these guys as great kids. My confidence comes with how hard they work, and they've been doing this since April. So when Ahmad's not shooting well, I'm looking long term. The next shot's going to go in. The next one's going to go in. And what happened was today was a day like that. Now, we don't want him to slip back into any kind of slump or anything. I don't think he will because he's putting the time in.
Coach, you've gone with the same starting lineup in every game this season. Last season, you used a plethora of those starting lineups. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, that was the plethora was out of. We absolutely could not find the right lineup last year. Or actually, I should say, we didn't have a lineup that consistently gave you the same thing. And I am not a change for change's sake. I always try and make changes for a certain reason. And it's nice to know what to expect from this team. I'm starting to get to the point where I know what to expect on which day of practice. I know what to expect 4 days before a game. I know what to expect 2 days before a game. I'm still not at the point where I know what I'm going to expect for them when I walk up the tunnel and it's game day. But we're getting close. So it really feels good not to have to change these lineups around and tinker with like the balloon where you squeeze one end and something comes out the other end. It's nice to sort of have a rotation.
Anything else? Can you talk about trusting Chale? I mean, he's kind of come on.
Oh yeah, I sure can. The mental part of the game, I trust already. He came to us as a coach's son and a kid who played a lot of basketball internationally against grown men. Mentally, he's made me very confident that he is capable of being a Pac-12 guard. Physically and emotionally, he's getting there. And I say emotionally only because it's a different game over here. There's a lot more sort of non-technical stuff that you learn growing up playing basketball in the United States that he just doesn't have. He doesn't have the little nuances there. Once he gets that, he'll be fine. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell, but he doesn't look nervous out there at all. I mean, the kinds of mistakes he makes, it's because he's being aggressive. And that's a tribute to the other three guards. And I think Jared, Roberto, and Ahmad are making him better because they have confidence in him. And they're sort of treating him differently than they got treated when they were younger by the other guys. So that's really going to speed him up. And, when Ahmad got that elbow in the eye, I thought nothing of putting Charlie in. And, I didn't know how bad Ahmad's eye was until we got to the timeout. But if we had to ride with him the entire half, I was prepared to do that. And it's great that we can have games like this where you can give him some significant minutes. I don't know what he ended up with, 15 minutes. See, we thought at the beginning of the year when we got him that if we could get him 10 minutes a game, that would be great. And we've been getting him sort of 15, 16. You know, it's just going to make him better for the conference.
Coach, Joe Burton got teed up there in the second half. Whenever there's a scuffle, it seems like Burton's there. Would you say he's the enforcer on defense?
You know, that word enforcer sort of if it gets out there, it gets the attention of the ref. So I don't want to say he's the enforcer, but what I will say is that Joe won't let someone be more physical than he is. And he will not let somebody try and bully his teammates. And I can appreciate that.
He also had kind of a creative pass there. We saw a few touch passes. Was this game kind of a step up as far as sharing the ball?
No, I'd have to look at the tape. It didn't feel like it to me because all of our games have been sort of high assists to basket ratios. But it could have been, you know, when I'm watching the game like that, that was one of those things that I would have to feel it intuitively, and I didn't. I didn't think it was a step up. I just think that these guys try and make the right play every time. If they can't put the ball in the basket themselves, they're moving it to the next guy and continuing the play in hopes that we get the ball in the basket. So. But if it felt that way to you, it certainly could have felt that way. It didn't seem like that to me.